commercial real estate, more specifically the multifamily commercial real estate, almost seems to be like the gold standard for real estate investors. That's not the only way to do it. So Elsa Nguyen spoke at our last meetup, and she broke down her first commercial real estate deal, but what she's also doing is syndicating land contracts and plans and selling them to investors to then build on. And so she's in the commercial development space, and she's working on a plan for 220 new construction condos. That's all in this meetup here. So as I introduce Elsa, I met her through a Facebook group. If anyone has found any value at all from a Facebook group, raise your hand real fast. One, you guys are here already, so you're already networking, which is amazing. But on Facebook, I bought a house on Facebook Marketplace. That was the second house that I bought. That was the first bird deal that I bought. I now have also found speakers on different real estate group, and I posted, is there anyone who'd be willing to speak at our event? And she came up. We had a quick phone call. She has amazing experience as a commercial multifamily syndicator. And so today she's going to share her first deal. She has done a number of deals, but again, selfishly so. This is why I host the events, is Ashley and I are looking for our first multifamily commercial. So curious to hear what your experience is. Give it up for Elsa.
Thank you so much. I was telling Amel, who is a friend of mine here, that he got invited here, but I had to be interviewed by Josh to be here today. Thank you guys so much for just being here today and listen to me for the next 10, 15 minutes. And by the way, I was just telling Josh that so he does the second part, which is the building. And I like land entitlement. So I buy land and I get it entitled. And once I get the approval, then I would sell it to a builder like him. So I was telling him that I'm doing a deal right now in Florida that is a little bit over 20 acres, and I'm doing 220 townhomes. So if you're interested, I'll flip it over to you once it's entitled. Florida, we all know, is a great market, right? So anyways, I started my real estate career really as a real estate agent. Yes, I'm a full-time real estate professional and I get all the write-off, which is nice. But really, like, when I had a full-time job in accounting, but I always have the love for real estate. So the only way that I know to get into real estate is to basically get a real estate license. So maybe if I look at enough properties, I can maybe do something with it. So I got my license back in 2002. I bought my first condo. I sold it, made $20,000, $30,000, and I bought a bunch of properties in 2008, and we all know what happened. I pretty much quit my real estate job and got back into the game in 2018 when I decided I love accounting. I love numbers. I love Excels. I'm very good with underwriting. But my passion, I have a background. My undergrad is in marketing. So I love people. I love talking. And so I'm just going to go back into real estate, and we'll just try to make it work this time. So from 2018, I started to selling homes. 2019, I'm like, I want to own real estate. Like, I love my buyers and sellers, but some of them are difficult to work with. So I'm going to go and buy properties for myself. So 2019, started poking around California market. It's just too expensive for me to get in. I don't have a lot of money to buy. So I started looking out of state. Nothing really came about in 2021. Talking about my first deal, I saw a 17 units apartment in Jacksonville, Florida. And this is after I did a bunch of research, read tons of books about real estate investing, and they all say, get into multifamily. If you cannot rent out the rest of the property, if you could rent out 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, you're still fine, right? You just make sure your break-even point is about 70% occupancy, you're fine. So started exploring multifamily, found this property on LoopNet, actually. A lot of people say there's nothing good on LoopNet. I found most of my properties on LoopNet. Was listed for $1.5 million. And at the time, I was looking at our real estate market here, 1.5, I could barely buy a house. There in Florida, I can buy 16 units apartment, 16 one bed, one bath, and 1 4-bedroom house. 4-bed, 2-bath. I'm like, oh my God, this is a steal. They have a separate parcel for the single family. So in my mind, I'm like, if I can get this pretty, I could just section out the single family and just sell it. And I could get at least maybe $250,000 for the 4-bedroom, and I'll keep the 16 units for myself. So that was my plan. They listed at 1.5. It was too high. I watched the property. They dropped it to 1.3, actually 1.39. I decided to write an offer. Remember, I'm a real estate agent, so I can't negotiate. So I came in and offered 1.2. Unfortunately, someone offered a little bit more than me, and I didn't get it. So anyway, long story short, the guy called me about a month later and they say, hey, you know what? The buyer backed out. Are you still interested? I'm like, yeah, maybe, but let's talk about the price. So he go, how much you want to put in? I'm like, okay, how about 1150? So back and forth. He go, can you do 1165, 1165? And I look at the numbers. I'm like, okay, I can do 1165, but let me go out there, take a look at the properties and see how it's like. So I did my due diligence. I look at the rent roll. I look at everything. 4 out of the 16 apartments were not rented. And then 4 of them were renting $350 a month. Actually, $335 a month, whereas market rent is about $800 a month. So I'm like, why is it so low? Turn out that those are veterans, and the seller had an agreement with the owner where he bought the property from that he cannot increase the rent for vets. He bought that property for so cheap. He said, I don't care. I can keep them at $335 a month forever, and I still make money. But that's not the case for me. So I told him, look, I can buy. We either just cancel this deal, or you're gonna have to agree that you have to fix up the 4 units that are not being rented right now because they have some issue. And also you're going to have to finish the single family. So the single family was not ready yet. It was maybe 80% done. There's some works that need to be done. They go, that's fine. Put in $20,000 to get it all done, and then we can close this row. So long story, it took about 6 months for them to finish up the work. We almost fell off escrow a few times, but finally they pulled it off. And by the time they're done, I get pretty much a brand new 4-bedroom single family house, plus about 13 out of the 16 apartments that are completely renovated. And given some of them were vacant, I don't have any problem with that. We came in, we rented out for $785 a month plus water. I passed the water expense to the buyer. They pay me $35 a month. So we're looking at about 800 plus per door for the single family. I rented a single house. Actually, I didn't sell it. I rented out for $2,000 a month. It was a sweet deal. That was my first deal. I did not know how to talk to investors and ask them to invest with me. So I bought it with 2 other partners. And the property value right now, because we stabilized the assets, we rented those units out. So probably worth anything between $1.8 to $2 million right now. So we have about, I don't know, $800,000 in equity. And I get to split that with my 2 partners. We plan to sell the property, put it in the market next year, because it's not a long-term hold. Have I done this with investors? Then, of course, I can share that benefits, that force appreciation with my investors. So that's my first deal.
Wow, I call dibs on the first sale, but that's amazing. That first deal is amazing. And then now, obviously, you're looking at 220 new build townhouses.
So basically that's just the land. Before you can go and buy a house, we buy a piece of land and we go to the zoning process, and we want to make sure the city approved for us to build so many properties on it. So that's what I do. And what Jess does is the second part where he's take that approval and they go, okay, I don't have to go to that ugly park, and I'm just going to build. So that's what I do with my 225 townhomes in Florida. We got it for dirt cheap. 20 acres of land, you guys. I pay $450,000 for it.
What do you expect to sell it for with the plans approved, estimating?
So we did talk to a broker, and we also get a letter of intent from Dealhorn, and they offer us $20,000 per lot.
Wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
you do the math.
Yeah, that's a good amount of money. Give it up for Elsa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you want more real estate and marketing content, make sure to subscribe because we post videos daily. And if you're looking for the next video from this meetup, make sure to click the link down below. See you in the next video.